I'm going to go ahead and do a quick introduction. Some of you probably already know Kyle and myself, but just in case, we'll introduce ourselves. So I'm Jenny Harwood. I am a member of the Libraries Connecting Texas team at E-Rate Central, and have been doing E-Rate for 16, almost 17 years. Glutton for punishment, I suppose. But it is a program that I'm very passionate about, and have seen it done some great things for libraries and school districts across the nation. Kyle, do you want to give a quick bio?
Sure. My name is Kyle Lewis. I'm also a team member with the Libraries Connecting Texas team. I've been in the E-Rate field for just under 2 years, and I am here to help support Ginny as she presents the information here, and help answer questions that anyone may want to submit during the call. You can submit those either by using the raise hand function or typing them into the chat box, and we can help answer those questions as we proceed.
Yes, absolutely. We want this to be interactive and helpful as can be. Before you get off, we want you to be able to save and share your 471 application with us so that we can review it, do a QA, quality assurance, and then have you certify it. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. There are 2 source documents that I'd like each of you to have handy. And those are a recent bill with your current service provider or the provider that you're in a multi-year contract with. So this Come File With Us is meant to help you file your Form 471 application with a multi-year contract in place with your current internet service provider. So that could have started 2 years ago, the contract could have started last year. And so that's what this webinar is about. And so we would need a recent bill that's going to show all of your charges to make sure we capture all of the E-Rate eligible charges for your funding request. And the second thing is a copy of your Form 471 from last year, from funding year 2020. So if you can round those up, that would be great to have them handy and make sure that we have those as a resource moving forward in this call. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we're going to walk through the application in Epic. And like Kyle said, speak up if you wish, or type in questions in the chat. We want you to get all of the questions you need answered to get your application certified soon. Okay, so this should look familiar if you've logged into Epic. This is the E-Rate portal where all the applications are filed, and you'll see I'm in the training site, but that URL is portal. So it's https://portal.usac.org. So that's portal.usac.org. Type that into your browser, and that'll get you to Epic, the E-Rate Productivity Center portal. Once you're there, you'll go to your landing page. And from your landing page, there's a lot of different activity you can see or view or access from here. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click on our name that says welcome, library name right up here, top left under the USAC logo. I'm going to navigate you quickly to your multi-year contract that should already be in Epic. So this will take you into your library profile. So this This name up here should be your library name, and you should see all of these tabs underneath. And we want to go to contracts, the contracts tab. This is where you create contract records in Epic. And if we have a multi-year contract, then that contract should be listed in this submitted contracts table. So as you'll see here, Pumpkin Library, Internet, this is my contract. So I'm going to click on View because I want to look at it real quick. So I would encourage you all to take a look at your contract, make sure it's correct. The pieces of information that you really want to focus on are the establishing form 470, making sure that that's correct. If you signed this contract last year for 2020, then this establishing form 470 number should begin with 20. Make sure your service provider name is correct. The contract award date is correct. If you've got the contract handy as well, just make sure that that contract award date, the date that it was signed, that's accurate. And if all of that looks good, then we're ready to get into your Form 471. Do we have any questions before I move forward on contracts? Okay, great. So now I'm going to, you'll see there's a task, thanks to Kyle. George, you have a question? George, you're welcome to unmute if you would like. Or you can type it in. Okay, so your contract award date is 2/20/2019. Okay, so if that's accurate, then this date right here should say 2/20/2019. Perfect. And how many years is the contract term? Maybe we don't know. So, okay, let's just for the purpose, yeah, let's just say 3 years. That's good. So the first year of this contract would have been funding year 2019, which started July 1, 2019. And it is going to go through June 30th of 2022, which is good through this next funding year. Thank you, George. That's a great example. Okay, so in Epic, you'll see across the very top, there's main tabs. There's a tasks tab. Click on tasks and you should have at least one waiting for you, and it should be your 471 draft. Kyle worked very hard to get all of these drafted. If you do not see one, we may not have access to your Epic account, full access. So anybody on the call not have a task with your Form 471 draft. Please take a look now and make sure you have a task. Okay. Then it looks like everybody has one. That's great. So what Kyle has done, go ahead and open the task, click on the task. What Kyle has done is he's gotten the application teed up to the point where you're ready to enter your funding request information. So it should be on this page. He has done, you'll see this little timeline bar up here. He's already prepared your basic information, your entity information, all the way up to funding requests.
If it's not quite up to this page yet, then you will want to click on the button that says Save and Continue. So you may find that the shell of the Form 471 that you are looking at is on the entity information section. Just confirm that that information is still correct, and then save and continue to get to that FRN entry page that Ginny had presented there. It should be selected to the correct category of service, category 1 for internet access, and then category 2 for the handful of libraries that do need to file a category 2 Form 471.
So the majority of you, though, I believe on this call are going to have a category 1 only app. So if like Kyle said, if this has not been selected, you'll select category 1, save and continue. Your library gets its discount from the school district in which the main branch is located. So it's going to pull in that information for you. So you'll select save and continue. Save and continue all the way to funding requests. Okay, so now we're ready to, Blake, can Kyle create my task for Kilgore Public Library? I fill that one out too. Okay, right, you do have both libraries. So yes, we will do that for you. Okay, so now we're ready to add an FRN, this blue button down here. And you can give the funding request a nickname, kind of a naming convention that we go by is the funding year first. So 21 underscore, we'll put the name of the provider. HCTC underscore, and then the name of the service, and this is internet. Okay, so funding year underscore, provider name underscore, service name. Now, you can do two things here. This next question is if this funding request is a continuation of an FRN from a previous funding year, you can say yes and copy that funding request. It'll copy everything over from the 2020 application. For the purposes of today, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and create a new FRN just so you can see the process. But if you do choose to copy from last year, just make sure that everything was input correctly from last year. You can copy it and then you can edit it if it's not. So I'll leave that up to you, what you want to do there. But I am going to say, yes, it's a continuation from the previous funding year. I'm going to put the prior funding year number there. Okay. I'm still not going to copy it, but I am going to reference last year's funding request. If you do want to copy, you click there, it'll copy it over for you. But I'm not going to do that so I can show you guys exactly how to do it. And then with category 1, there's only one drop down for service type. It's data transmission and internet access. So that's the one you'll select and then you'll say continue. Jerry, I had the number already typed in, so it won't add it for you. You'll have to know it. So if you have your copy from your 471 from last year, it'll be on there. Good question. Okay, now is the time for me to select the contract that we just looked at that's already created in the other section, the contract section. So we're going to say contract here. and continue. And the billed entity number, it typically populates that in this field. So I'm going to say search for all contracts with my associated with my billed entity number. I only have one. That's the one I want. So I'm going to check the box to the left. And now you can see the details in that contract pop up, the summary details. So we just looked at this information and made sure it's correct. So the only thing to do right now is to tell the computer when is the last date of the contract term. So I'm going to piggyback off George's contract, and I'm going to say the last date of my contract is 6, and it's in 2-digit month, 2-digit day, 4-digit year format. So 06/30/2022. So the service start date should be 7/1/2021. And the date I just entered should be the last date of service on the contract. If yours is 2023, it's going to be 6/30/2023. And if you're ever unsure what it's asking, there's these little question marks. You can hover over them and they'll explain exactly what information they're asking. And then I'm going to hit continue. This next page is specific to fiber. And if your library had special construction, which are upfront charges to get the fiber, to build the fiber to your library. If you have dark fiber, I'm not sure anybody on here does, you can get maintenance and operations for that fiber covered, or network equipment under category 1 to manage that fiber. Most of you are going to say, if not all of you are going to say no here. If you're not sure or you think this might apply to you, let us know. But I'm going to say no and continue. All right, this is the opportunity for you to write in a narrative. And a good narrative can be taken directly off of your contract or your 471 from last year. So this service that I am asking for funding amounts on is for 100 megs, so 100 Mbps of fiber internet access. It could be 200 megs. It could be some of you may not have fiber. Some of you may have a cable modem service. Some of you may have any kind of coax service. So if you're uncertain, just type in, I would copy it from your 471 from last year, or your bill might give you some insight as to what it is, or your contract. This does not have to be long, this narrative. It just has to give a couple of details as to what the service is. And so I would put your bandwidth and I would put what type of service in the very least. And once you've done that, you're going to click Save and Add or Manage FRN line items. So we've added the type of service and we've associated it with a contract. And now we have to add an FRN line item, which is where we add the monies that we're requesting. So let's go ahead and click Add New FRN line item in blue. Okay, this is where you'll want to pull your bill. For most of you, actually for all of you, you're going to select the first radio button, Internet Access Service that includes a connection from any applicant site directly to the Internet Service Provider. The function, and let's hover over that. This is what type of service you are receiving. So it could be fiber, copper, wireless, or other, or miscellaneous. We'll get to miscellaneous in a minute. So mine happens to be fiber. And then the type of connection is, what is the transport? Is it, all of these options may make your head spin. So most of you that have fiber, you're going to select Ethernet. It's towards the bottom. It's second from the bottom. Now, if you know you have an optical circuit of some sort, you can select something else. But if you have fiber, I would suggest selecting Ethernet as the type of connection. Okay. And save and continue. Now's where you'll want to know what's the bandwidth, the download and the upload of your internet circuit. So I have 100 Mbps, megabits per second. You may have a gig. So you would put 1 and then Gbps. Okay, so pull from your a copy of your invoice. It automatically duplicates download and upload speeds, since fiber is typically synchronous. So if yours is different, you can change the upload speed if it's if it's 100 down and 50 up or something like that. And most of you are going to select no for burstable bandwidth as well. And then save and continue. Okay, these 3 questions. This first one, you're going to say yes to. Is this a direct connection to a single school, library, or non-instructional facility for internet access? That applies to you. You'll say yes. Does this include firewall service? That would be indicated on your bill, or your contract. In most cases, you'll say no. I mean, in some cases, you may have firewall service included, in which case you'll say yes. I'm going to say no. And then this third question is about wide area network. I'm going to talk about that here in just a minute. We'll create a line item for a WAN circuit in just a few minutes, in case any of you, some of our libraries do have multiple branches. But for this one, I have a single branch. I only have 1 internet connection. I do not have a circuit between locations. So I'm going to say no here. Save and continue. Now is the time for me to calculate my monthly charges. So there are certain eligible taxes and surcharges on your bill. If your bill includes voice services, there are going to be just a few of them that are applicable to internet. And those might include the universal service fee or USF fee charge. That is E-rate eligible. You can include that on a separate line item in a minute. But what you want to do here is you want to get the cost, the monthly recurring charge for the internet circuit itself. So for my purposes, mine is $199.95 a month. That's for my 100 by 100 meg internet connection. There are no ineligible costs of that, so I'm going to put 0. And for the quantity, I'm going to put, I just have 1 circuit. and it calculates, it annualizes it by multiplying it by 12 for you. Now on this right-hand side, you're going to have to enter if there are any one-time charges. You're in a multi-year contract, so it's doubtful you would have any one-time charges for this year. So you're going to put 0. You do have to enter 0 into these fields, and 0 and 0. Then it will calculate all the total charges for the year for you, recurring and one-time costs, pre-discount. So for my internet, it cost me just under $2,400 a year. If all that looks good, say save and continue. Now, manage recipients of service. If you only have one branch of your library and it's the one receiving service, then you can just hit save and continue. And it will list all of your branches if you, or recipients of service. If you have multiple ones, then you'll want to select which one is receiving service. But for the purposes of this call, we will select, we'll say, yes, this is my one recipient of service, and it's the only one I need to allocate funding for. And I'm going to hit save and continue. Now it takes me back to the line where I can create more line items. So that line item is for the monthly recurring charges for your internet service. Now we're going to create a new line item for taxes and surcharges. A couple of years ago, USAC started requiring you to split out taxes and surcharges from the monthly recurring charge for services. For, I guess, for their internal processes, they had to do that. So this is how you add a separate line item for taxes. So again, I'm going to select the top radio button, internet access that service that includes a connection to the service provider. Under function, however, I'm going to select miscellaneous. And the type of connection, there is a taxes and USF fees option. Okay, so miscellaneous is the function. Taxes and USF fees is the type of connection, and then save and continue. Typically, you see about 20% taxes on these services. So I'm going to put $20. It may be $20.38, and you should be exact, taken directly from your bill. And you may even want to circle or highlight the section that you, on the bill that you selected for the taxes and surcharges, so you can show how you arrived at this amount. So as far as ineligible fees go, there are 0 ineligible fees of that $20.38. I have 1 circuit, quantity 1. There are no one-time charges, so I'm going to put 0. And then I'm going to save and continue. Same thing with recipients of service. If you have multiple ones, select the only one that's receiving service. If all of them are receiving service, then you'll say yes here and save and continue. It'll show you all the recipients of services here. Save and continue. And now you see both line items we just created. We created the one for the internet circuit itself, plus the taxes and surcharges. Okay, I am going to save and continue. I would like to show one more save and continue gets back to your funding request page. And we created one funding request for the internet we created 2 line items for that funding request, okay? Now, if we had another service, some of our libraries have multiple branches, and some of you have a WAN, a wide area network. So I'm going to show you how to create a funding request for a wide area network service. So we're going to add an FRN. And I'm going to give it the same naming convention, funding year, HCTC, and I'm going to say WAN, which is a circuit that connects multiple locations. And it's asking if it's a funding request is a continuation from a prior funding year. I'll say yes. Enter my 2020 funding request that I'm copying from. Not copying, that I'm referencing. I can copy by clicking copy there. And then the service type, again, there's only one option for category 1. So you'll just hit continue. It's a contracted service. My build entity number already populates, so I'm going to search for the contract with that build entity number. Yes, that's the contract I want. I'm going to select it by checking it. And it is good through 06/30/2022. Let's double check our numbers, make sure we didn't fat finger anything here. 7/1/21 to 6/30/2022. And continue. Yes, this is fiber, but I've already paid for special construction in the first year of the contract, so none of this applies. So I'm going to click no. Continue. Now the narrative is going to be similar to the internet. We'll say 100 Mbps WAN circuit to branch library. Save and add. And then I'm ready to create a new FRN line item. Similar to what we just did. I won't go into that right now because it's the same thing we just did. I just wanted to show you how to create an FRN for a wide area network circuit if any of you have a WAN circuit separate from your internet. Okay, so now I'm going to click Save and Continue. You can see right here the summary of my funding request. I really like this feature. Under FRN calculation, you can click on the dollar amount. It will show you broken down what you've requested. So what it did, it took the monthly recurring charges for both line items, the taxes and the service fee, and added them, annualized it, multiplied it by 12, told us what the total is for the year. And then over here, it tells me my discount rate's 90%. So the funding request, 90% of my cost will be covered and what that amount is. So that's a good little reference if you wanted to share with others at the library as to what you're asking for and what E-rate covers for you. And then you'll just go back. Okay, and we want to just make sure that everything looks good here on your funding requests. And click Review FCC Form 471. So we'll click that. What that's going to do is it's going to PDF your draft 471 application. And so you want to say you want to proceed. Yes. It's going to take a minute. Oh yeah, it's not liking that I don't have any money allocated. Okay. I am going to, sorry. I'm going to delete that line item. And another thing is if you need to, if these monies don't look correct after you've looked at it and you've left a charge off, you can click this box over here to the left and you can edit that funding request and go in and modify any of the information you typed in. I'm going to delete this one just so we can move forward. And review the 471. Now it's going to tell me, you know, grab a sip of water, whatever you need to do. It's going to wait a few minutes to refresh, and then it will have a PDF copy of your application ready for you. It'll come up as a task. Okay, and that was quick. So you'll want to download this application. Okay. And look it over really carefully. Okay. So I would, at this time, skim it and just make sure everything looks correct. It should look familiar to you if you've done this before. Scroll through it and just make sure that it's all correct. And if it is, you go back into Epic, and what we would like for you to do is go back to your tasks. Open the application. Click on Edit Form. Takes me all the way back. Okay. I'm not sure, Kyle, if there's a quicker way to get what I'd like. So what we're trying to get you all to do is to save and share the application with us before you certify. So it may be easier not to review the PDF, because what I'm seeing right now, Kyle, is it's going to make it go all the way back. So right here, clicking save and share, what that's going to do to this application for all of you on this call, it's going to remove it from your tasks and share it with LCT. So you won't be able to see it. So Kyle, do you have any suggestions on?
Sure. When I initially shared these to you, it should show up to all users associated with your library, both with LCT and yourself. So it may stay in your tasks, but if you save and share, that will mean that we can accept the task and take a look through it and review it and the information within before saving and sharing it back to you so you can certify.
So that was the process that we thought would be best for LCT to help you in doing kind of a quality assurance check. So earlier I said click here to review the 471. I would wait to do that. Save and share with us once you've created your funding request, you've put all your money in. You save and share that with us. Excuse me.
Bless you.
That will leave your tasks, but it will come to ours and it will alert us that we can go in there and we can do a review of your application, making sure that everything looks correct, and then we can save and share back or send it to you for certification. So that we would encourage you guys to do that. We will do our best to get these back within 24 to 48 hours once you save and share them with us. But I'm going to do that now, and you'll see that this task is going to go away.
It will still be accessible once it's saved and shared. It may take a minute for it to show back up there, but you'll see not just your name available there. You'll see everyone who's added as a user there. If you're uncertain about your the charges on your bill as well, please do communicate with us about that, and feel free to send a copy of the bill so we can help you review the charges on there.
Absolutely. I remember when the save and share, it literally was gone from the sender. So I guess that's great that it's not gone anymore. So you could still pull that back if you needed to.
Mm-hmm.
And if you click on it, it takes you right back to the same page. So the save and share is a great feature to send us when you're done, when you've filled out all the funding requests and you want us to review it before you certify. Then once you have gotten word from us that all looks good, then you can review the 471. And then you can certify it. And I'll show you that process real quick. Any questions? Okay, once you've reviewed the PDF and it looks good, we've reviewed it, you're going to check this box to say that yes, it's correct, and you're going to continue to certification. You want to read all these certifications carefully. There's 2 at the top. Then there's a total funding summary section. Be sure you look over that carefully. There are 2 questions. One is, are you receiving any of the funds directly from a service provider listed on the 471? The answer is no. The other question is, has a service provider listed on any of the 471s filed by your library for this funding year assisted you in locating funds? The answer is no. The rules are that your library has to pay your share. So the answer to both of those questions is no.
Please also be mindful of the, if you scroll up, there's a total budget amount allocated to resources not eligible for E-rate support. Typically, what they're looking for here is a figure associated with the equipment that the internet access is actually going to, so computers and end user access the budget here is applying to. Typically, this should not be a zero amount when you certify. So be sure to input a figure for at least an estimate of the non-E-rate eligible equipment that you have that internet access going to.
Thank you, Kyle. a good rule of thumb for that amount is to pull what your technology budget is, your approved technology budget for the year, and subtract the E-rate funding from that and then put that figure there. Okay. Thanks, Kyle. I just skipped right over that. Then you will click all of your certifications, the rest of them, read them carefully, and then you will click the blue certify button. And then it will confirm that you have certified the application. And then you'll want to download a copy of the certified app in Epic and keep that for your records. Okay, so I just certified. It tells me here you've successfully certified. It tells me the date and the time. The very last date to certify these applications, these 471s, is March 25th. So, you know, the sooner you can get this done, the better off you'll be. Typically, folks that file earlier get funded earlier. So, so I wouldn't hesitate to do this, even though we have plenty of time left. Go ahead and get it over with, get it done with, and let us know if you need help along the way. We did have a question. Jerry, yes. So the amount that you put in that box for a budget not covered by E-rate funds, yes. So back out your E-rate amount from that figure. You know, that figure is not it's not something that they would come back and make you return funds for if it was inaccurate. Typically, we don't like to see zero there. You may get questioned if you do have a zero there. So, but it, you know, it's not there's not a certain amount you have to put in that field. So, you know, just an estimation is fine. And then also, once you've confirmed and you see on this page, certification confirmation, you can access a PDF of your certified application. So you'll click there. It will take you to the application and scroll down. You will see the original version and you can download that PDF. And that's what you should save for your files. Kyle, is there anything else you can think of?
I would only mention that it is important to save a copy of the certified Form 471 and retain that documentation for a period of 10 years, either as a digital copy or as a physical printed out copy there. After you certify the Form 471, you may expect some, or you may receive some PIA questions. So do keep an eye out in your email for any emails from the Universal Service Administrative Company that point to a question being asked regarding the Form 471 or the information that you put on it.
Great, thank you. And you'll get those alerts in your email as well. So any emails that come from USAC need to be looked at pretty quickly because a lot of them are time sensitive, and we can help you with answering any of those PIA questions as well. Do we have any other questions?
Yes, hi, it's Hilda.
Hi,
I have
Hilda.
a question. Hi. I missed out on the other one, the 470 for a new contract training.
Okay.
You have that somewhere that I can review?
We do. Kyle did that last week. It has been recorded. It was recorded and put on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
Kyle, do you want to copy paste our YouTube channel into this chat maybe?
Certainly, I will provide a link to the video in the chat here. Let's see. Again, this is for libraries that are filing a Form 471 that includes new contract information for libraries that filed a Form 470 for funding year 2021 this year. So.
And it's for CAD 2. I'm doing
Okay.
it for CAD 2. Yeah.
Okay. That may have some
We
certain
may need to
differences.
help you with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'll
Kyle's
reach
been
out to
helping.
you.
Yeah. Kyle's been helping me out. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Well, thank you all for joining us today. I hope this was helpful. Again, this webinar has been recorded. We will also post this to our YouTube channel as well. So you'll have 2 resources there for you to help file the 471. And of course, reach us anytime with any questions. We're happy to help individually anytime.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there.